Hey guys, it's Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Chaos Child, and once again I have to apologize, but not because I yelled at the bird, because he was being a dick, and he deserved it. Now he's being good. You being good now? Yeah, you didn't scream very much today. You're being better. But more of that because I have no idea what the hell happened, and I abruptly ended. I was like, we're done, I can't, because I couldn't, because he was like, look, he was screaming, which is stressful. But I was already stressed out because fucking mice in my apartment again. They're always fucking here, but you know, there's like a couple of months where you're like don't have any, and you're like okay, and you go all into this false sense of security, and then you catch another one, and then it's the stress level, and I'm also packing all of my shit and trying to move again. Not until April of next year, but I'm already like starting to pack, so I'm just stressed out, fucking everything. I don't need him screaming on top of it. It didn't help my stress cake, okay? Like, this is not the fucking cake that I want. A cheesecake, not a stress cake. Someone got my order wrong. But anyway. So I'm sorry that I abruptly ended it and I have no idea what the fuck was going on. But hopefully you do. I don't. Whatever. We're fighting with Sarika. Was that it? We were having a conversation with her, but like literally like I couldn't. The last like 10 minutes I couldn't focus. So anyway, hopefully you know what the hell's going on. I'll figure it out. So, but I'm sorry we abruptly ended in the middle of this conversation, but we were going to have to cut it off at a cock-blocky point anyway, probably, but anyway. Why are you saying that? I was going to use my dice sword to change her. I was going to change her into a normal girl with no powers who didn't kill anyone, and who didn't even know that I'd created her. I was gonna rebuild her into a normal girl. Oh, interesting. Okay. I can do that. I'm the only one who can. I'd created her from nothing. I knew I could do it. I could make her normal. No! No! I don't wanna... She was crying like a baby. Was she scared? Afraid? Why? Don't take my reason for living from me! She was weeping and her voice was desperate. I've read lots of mine since I was created. Everyone's always worried and no one ever knows what to do. I can't believe they live like that. That just didn't sum up my whole life right there lately. How can they smile? They don't know why they're doing it. Sometimes you just do it for no reason. You're like, I don't know why I feel happy. And then sometimes you're like, why is everything awful? It's probably manic depression. I don't know. It's not good. I don't want to be normal. Her voice bounced off the stage and hung over the empty seats. No one but me heard it. Her tears fell on the floor, mixing with my blood. No, you're going to be a normal girl. I spoke softly as I raised the die sword high. No, please. Please, let me help you forever. I remembered what was in Nono's letter. Forget everything and live the same life as everyone else does, but don't get buried among the crowd. That's impossible for me now, but I know you can do it. This is it. Goodbye. Oh. Taku! The end. Person of interest secured. Person's name is Takuro Miyashiro, 18 years old. He's a third-year student at Hekio Academy. We've secured Takuro Miyashiro. Person of interest. Someone who is believed to possess important information regarding a crime. Did we do it, though? And then she's not going to remember anything? February 2016. 3 months later. Morning at the Children's Welfare Facility, Aoba Dorm.
You? I can do it on my own now.
When Yuki finished washing her face and came into the dining room, Yuto was already getting breakfast ready.
I said I'd do it. No, you can sit down.
She looked inside the kitchen and saw that Yuto had already done all of Yuki's work for her. Fine, she thought. I'll do the cleanup myself. Then she sat in the chair without further complaint. Lately, Yuki had learned to make a few dishes without resorting to the recipe scrapbook that Kurusu and Yui had made. Of course, her food didn't taste quite as good. But if nothing else, she wasn't trying difficult recipes and burning the pan like she'd been doing right after she came back here. After a short wait, Yuto brought all the dishes to the table.
Thanks. Okay, let's eat. Let's eat.
Yuto could also make simple dishes himself now. It was his idea and he'd been working hard at it. Who's taking care of them? They're too little to be left alone. 3 months after everything that had happened, with its owners Sakuma and Takuru, Kurusu, and Yui gone, Aoba Dorm itself was in danger. Well, so we are in jail, ain't we? Oh my god. The place had only survived because of Sakuma's salary, so that was natural. But when Shinjo had told them it was safe to go back to Shibuya, they both insisted on coming home to Aoba Dorm. Shinjo insisted it was impossible, but surprisingly, it was Momose who helped them out. I mean, technically, Yuki is, like, supposed to be, like, 14 or something, so, like, Yuto might be supposed to be 12, but, like, somewhere around there, but, like, they made them literally look like 8. They look like babies. You know what I mean? I mean, I know technically Yuki looks like she's, like, anywhere between 6 and 8 years old, so she does, but then if you look at her, and they all look the same age. They're like, hey, she still looks like she did before the earthquake. And it's like, you all look like that. What the fuck? None of you age, but whatever. She'd called in a few favors, and Aoba Clinic had become the property of a completely normal private doctor, and some of the clinic's earnings were dedicated to keeping Aoba Dorm alive. Of course, it wasn't a family like it was before. The doctor just worked at the clinic. He didn't manage the dorm. Instead, a nutritionist and nurse, both of whom said they were acquaintances of Momose's, would come by every day. But Yuki and Yuto wanted to keep as much of their old lives as possible, so they wanted to make their own food. So on weekends and days when the nutritionist couldn't come, the two of them eagerly went to the kitchen.
It's good. I got a little too thick, though.
Only very recently had Yuto started to talk more. After what happened to Yui and Nono, and then what he'd been told about Sakuma and Takuru, he'd become nothing but an empty shell. The one thing that had saved him was that even then he'd stayed close to Yuki. He'd wanted to be with someone. This poor fucking child. Everyone. The world has taken everything from this fucking child. Like, holy shit. The next game is gonna be him being a serial killer because he's just like, fuck everything. Or a superhero because he doesn't want anyone to suffer. I'm not sure which way it's gonna go. He could just get angry and just start stabbing people. Or, he could get angry and start saving people. You never know. Of course, the wounds in his heart hadn't healed. Poor fucking child. No, they probably never would. The loneliness and regrets would come back to haunt him again and again. And it's kind of curious because obviously, are like, we in jail? Like, they think we're the murderer and like and nothing got proven. And so, I mean, that's why this is the common route. You're like, this is bullshit. This is bullshit. But it's bullshit for a reason. Props, game. Yuki herself sometimes had trouble sleeping at night. When that happened, she would go to Yuto's room because he was afraid of being alone at night, she would say, and the two of them would endure the terror together. The two of them were brother and sister, inseparable now. Just like Nono and Takuru had been.
Oh, right. About the proposal.
Yeah. Yuki's chopstick suddenly froze.
I'm okay with it.
What? She didn't expect that answer. She thought Yuto would refuse.
It'd be better to have someone use them, I think.
They were thinking of accepting new members at Aoba Dorm, which would mean they'd have to use Takuru's or Nono's room. She'd wanted to save them, personally. Nono wasn't coming back, but she wanted to believe that Takuru might. But if Yuto had made his decision as the older sister, she had to support him. You're right. She smiled the best she could and started to eat more of her little brother's cooking. Aww. Ciao! It's Hanae! The door opened and Hanae Arimura walked into the newspaper club room. Oh, you guys get free period too, Hana? The owner of the room raised a hand in greeting without even looking up, like she always did. Her mood is good today. She'd learned how to tell from the sounds on the keyboard. There are a lot of fucking umbrellas in that room, can I just say, for the fact that, like, it, you know what I mean? Like, there's the two of them, because Ito's fucking Serica might be living a normal life now. We're gone, like, there's, like, nobody here, and there's 80 umbrellas. I don't know if we go back to the door, you can see them. I never noticed them before, because I think there's always someone standing in front of them. Arimura sat in her usual spot and took out the book she was reading, Tero Miyake's famous 6,000 Lives and Deaths. Miyake, yeah. There had been an awful lot of free periods lately, and during each one, she would either come here and read a book or work on a novel as part of her literature club activities. Miyashiro, Kurusu, and Ito were gone, so Kazuki was always here alone. And she almost never said anything. There was no need to worry about her hearing lies. It was the perfect place for her. After the incident, she'd spent several weeks in Akihabara before suddenly being allowed to go back to Shibuya. Allowed wasn't the right word. She'd been dragged back here. She hated it, but even if it meant another fight with her family, there was nothing else she could think of doing. There hadn't been any problems with physics since then, at least publicly. Oh, psychics. Why did I say physics? Wow. Psychics. I was like, that doesn't make any sense. Why do we care about physics? I can't read. There hadn't been any problem with psychics since then, at least publicly. Sometimes Shinjo would call to check on her, but nothing special was going on. But she'd never expected the case to end like it did. Oh. She saw an unfamiliar expression in the book, so she decided to copy it down into the notebook she kept in the newspaper club. Handwriting was the best way to do this stuff, she thought. There was no class in just typing everything onto a computer. She stood up and looked for it in the steel shelves against the wall, but it wasn't where she thought it would be. She reached out her hand toward the back of the shelf. Oops! And the papers that had been piled there fell off. Arimura and Kazuki froze when they saw one of them. It was a big map folded many times over. She didn't have to spread it out to know what it was. Of course it was gonna. I was like, it's gonna be the papers. Come on, we know. It was the one the newspaper club had put on the wall when they were going over the case. But there was no need for it anymore. So the first thing Kazuki had done after she'd come back to this room was take it off the wall. Arimura had come back a few weeks later, but she hadn't said a word about it vanishing. No, it'd be more accurate to say she wouldn't. You know, come to think of it, they said Siri reacted to the light a little. It's a sign that she might wake up, they say. It was something that Shinjo had just told her on the phone. Oh my god, because we did something to, like, when we attacked her with the dye sword. She didn't just, oh, I'm a normal girl. Obviously, something happened to her, and now she's maybe being reborn. She's not going to know what happens. She's not going to come back and be like, I did it, because she might not remember any of it. Oh. Kazuki turned around to look at her. What will you do? Her face seemed to say. I'm like, what'll you do? Her face seemed to say. She doesn't get to talk! Arimura frowned and scratched her head. We'll do exactly what Miyashiro wanted, I guess. There was nothing else she could do. That was the promise she'd made with him. Kazuki nodded and looked somewhere else. Arimura followed her gaze. She was looking at the chairs where Miyashiro and Serica used to sit. For what it was worth, Arimura hadn't sat there a single time since she started coming here. Then Ito's completely innocent. That was Momose's first question after hearing about what had just happened at the hospital. Correct. He really was just being mind-controlled, it seemed. It's safe to assume he has no information on the committee. The only other possibilities are Onoe and Miyashiro, but not the way things are looking, yeah. Kurosato and Momose both sighed at the same time. Sakuma was dead. They'd gone over everything he owned, as well as his body, but learned barely anything. She had found, with the help of her very, very strange acquaintance in Akihabara, that Sakuma had indeed worked at the basement under A.H. Tokyo General Hospital, but nothing else. All the data was deleted. I wonder... Oh, well, no, they said he, right? Because I was like, is that Senri? They show her in the fucking, like... She can't be dead, and she's got to come up in... Like, they show her in the intro segment! Like, why is she there? You know what I mean? With her cute long pigtails and everything? Like, I'm just saying she has to show up in the Kurusu kind of route, but... There was no data left of, sorry. She hated to admit it, but the committee was good at their work, and fast. I guess we didn't tell her what we saw in Serica's mind that, like, oh yeah, it had nothing to do with the committee. Even the police didn't seem to know who he was. That night, 3 months ago, she still didn't know what had happened between Miyashiro, Onoe, and Sakuma then. But if what she was imagining was correct, especially in light of her last call with Miyashiro, there was a need to question what Serica had told her at Frisia. Okay. She talked a lot about the committee, but looking back, there was a good chance it was a lie used to gain Kunisato's cooperation. Okay, because I was like, as proof, even after she'd taken the psychics out of Shibuya, nothing had happened. Her hacker acquaintance had checked his network and hadn't seen anything at all. With no real reason to stay in Akihabara anymore, she'd come back to Shibuya. But while she was gone, all the threads connecting Sakuma to the committee had vanished. They weren't even real, probably. Either she'd screwed up, or maybe Sakuma really was no one of importance at all. Which meant they simply gave up on him when he was no longer useful. But there was a lot of equipment that had disappeared from that underground facility. Even if he was the one who'd moved it, someone else must be in charge of it now. If she could find out who that someone was. The other chances. Amose looked at Kunasato and tapped her own temples. In here, Chaos Child Syndrome. You're right. That was the one route she still had open to her. It was the piece of evidence she'd chosen to use to get her revenge on the committee. That strange disease that had started showing up in certain victims of the earthquake. Her phone began to vibrate in her pocket. She saw the name on the phone and realized that it wasn't time for his usual check-in. That meant something had happened. What is it? Onoe has... February 2016. She slowly stepped into the hospital room. The room was clean, the air was pure. She nodded, satisfied with that. It was disappointing that no one had brought any flowers, but in light of his condition, there was no helping that. The curtain was closed, so she couldn't see him from here. Is it us? Are we like in a coma? She walked softly, without sound. She approached the bed nervously. She put her hand on the curtain and slowly opened it. The person she was looking for was lying there. She sighed in relief, and then brought her face close to his as if giving a kiss to a loved one. She was close enough that her short hair fell on his face. He's fine. Yeah, he's fine. He's lost a little weight, but it was still the face of the boy she'd known for years. I mean, it's either that or it's Ito. But we already kind of mentioned, Ito's innocent. Duh. They just kind of glossed over poor Ito, but because this is if it's us, it's well, I didn't expect that the cops, but it was just we got him, but he was unconscious maybe because whatever we tried to do to her, exploded our brain. It was a lot, you know what I mean? Too much for us to handle, and we're now in a coma somehow. But the cops, they said they had their person of interest. They didn't say we were conscious, you know what I mean? I didn't see that coming. It's he's gone. Are we in jail? Oh no, we're just in the hospital. Okay, we're basically this almost prison. Almost, well, except for maybe we're in a happy land with cotton candy trees and gumdrop buttons and shit. Not my gumdrop buttons! But, instead of being trapped in hell. So hopefully our coma dreams are nice. I don't know. Anyway, she opened the window. Because Ito had already woken up, although after he was trying to tell us who did it, fresh air blew into the room. The weather was great. It was the perfect day to go outside. I doubt she'd go visit Ito. Poor fucking Ito. Let's go, Taku! Did we just die? Oh! I heard the beep noise. I thought we died, but wow. Breaking news. As of 9 a.m. this morning, the killer behind the Return of the New Generation Madness murders, Takuto Miyashiro, disappeared from a prison hospital. Okay, so we were in prison, but in a hospital. But okay. The bodies of several guards were found, evidently killed in a struggle. As for the reason the killer was being kept at the hospital, the police have stated that he was being examined as a Chaos Child Syndrome patient, and that there was no problem with the site's security.
What happened?
Oh my god! That's kind of amazing! Oh my god, we just fucking disappeared! Shit! That's really how they're gonna leave that ending? That's really how that ends! We just escape with Serica. Like, she's just like, come on! And then we just... But they don't so many... A hidden story has been unlocked. Oh, which one? I'm assuming it's any one of the other paths, probably. So I think what we should do, hold on, let me go back. As you can tell, by the time you're watching this, it's like September and all of this. It's not even August right now. I've recorded so much. I need to turn on the guide because I think it's chapter 4. Let's see back where... So we don't have to skip through everything. Let's go back to chapter... Maybe in chapter 3. I don't want to go to chapter 4 because I think chapter 4 is where you do... to get the bad ending for the common route, you choose all of the prompts on the board wrong, but I'm not sure if where we were in here. But I wonder if we load this. Hold on. Yes, load this. Can we skip? How do you skip, though? I don't know what the buttons are. Okay, cool. Wow, this skip is fast. I love you, skip. Shit. Okay, cool. So let me come up here. Common route, bad end. Let's type this. Common route, bad end. Chapter 4-1. Select any of these 2 wrong options twice. Don't select had special powers. Okay, and I just don't know if that first chapter, if in chapter 4 we were already there or not, so. Okay, so that's what that one says. I'm pretty sure both guides are the same. Okay, and then bad ends. I kind of feel like for each one we should do like this instead of doing all the bad ends at the end, because again, we won't remember what they are. Select both of the incorrect options. Be warned that if you attempt to do this before finishing the common route, an incomplete version of the ending is showing. Okay, that's nice to know. So that's why I have 2 guides. So they both say the same thing, but like this one, if we had gotten the bad ending first, we wouldn't have gotten the full bad ending. Cool. So we'll just do the wrong options. I guess we probably could have opened in chapter 4, but I didn't want to skip and then... It's supposed to stop when we have a trigger. I think. Okay. All right. Here we go. I was like, it's supposed to stop when there's like a trigger for something. Okay, so we're supposed to say, use tricks to control others' minds, and we're aliens from outer space. That means we're supposed to do both. Think about it. Otani said he could see the future. Takayanagi's voice had some kind of strange power. Kakita could read his customers' minds. And Watabe took photographs that were too good to be true. Like, literally. Use tricks to control others' minds. We can hypothesize that they all used some kind of trick that allowed them to control the minds of other people. Huh? Tricks? I'll give you a lecture on it. Here's what I'm trying to say. First, Otani, who said he could see the future. For instance, if he had connections with someone in the media, he could have plenty of access to things that the general public wouldn't know yet. Couldn't he use that as bait to make himself look like a prophet? Oh, instead of saying they're psychics, he's like, we faked it. Okay. And as for Takayanagi and her strange voice, she'd been in street concerts for a while and already had a bunch of fans. Once someone's your fan, it's simple to make them hypnotize themselves into believing that you have something special that drew them to you. And Kakita's ability to read minds might just mean he was very good at dealing with people. I have a feeling what they'll do is tell you, like, no, that's wrong, and then you go back to choose the right answer, and if you don't choose, you know what I mean? They're like, we gave you 2 fucking chances. There's 3 options. How the fuck did you fuck it up twice? You know what I mean? Like if you screw up one, if you were like, they use tricks, and then you're like, oh shit, no, it's their psychics. Like the alien one, you're like, they're not fucking aliens. But here we go. Do a good job long enough, and your clients will convince themselves that you know exactly what they want. Okay, but do you have any proof? Ito hit my argument in one of its weak spots. Well? No, but if you don't have any proof, then there's not much we can do. Maybe you should rethink this. I was so sure, too. I can't wait for the alien one. This is gonna be so good. I guess you could choose the wrong one a second time. Yeah, and that means they... Oh, no, you can't. I cannot wait for this. Okay. 40 hours to get the common route, man. That's all I'm saying, because, well... The victims were all aliens from outer space. What? Is that what I'm supposed to say, Mr. Miyashiro? Come on, I was just trying to lighten things up a little. There are some things that even I don't know. You're allowed to say that, you know. I'm not going to. I should rethink this. What's wrong, Taku? I'm going to the bathroom to wash my face. It says skip, but we shouldn't be able to skip. Oh, no. It's on skip. I was like, we shouldn't be able to skip. Okay, never mind. I didn't see, because when we were actually skipping, I didn't see the skip thing, but we shouldn't be able to skip because this is all new. So cool. Okay. Don't push yourself too hard. Bye. She's going to kill us, isn't she? Or maybe Ito is. I guess it's a good thing you didn't get a bad ending, but like accidentally, because if you saw that, it would ruin the whole thing that like, Ito did what? Like, it would ruin shit. Phew. I felt a little better after washing my face with cold water in the bathroom. Maybe I've been overthinking things earlier. Now that I'd had a chance to refresh, I should try looking at things from another angle. Oh. And then suddenly someone bumped into me from behind. It's Ito. Huh? They didn't hit me that hard. I only staggered for a moment and hadn't been knocked to the ground or anything. But whoever they were, they clung to my back and didn't let go. At least apologize or something. I tried to turn around to tell them that. It's Ito. And I felt my back start to burn. Like how a single drop of water creates ripples that spread across a pond. The heat spread across my back. And once it spread out far enough, it suddenly turned to pain. I wonder if when it says it's an incomplete ending, if you haven't finished the common route, if the incomplete part is you don't see Ito grin. Because if you got this bad ending and say they cut that little scene out, it was just like, okay, and then you didn't see that little Ito suspicious grin, you know, just that little brief second, then you wouldn't know. You'd be like, oh my god, what the fuck? You get a bad ending, you go back, play it, and it wouldn't spoil it, because seeing that is like, it's a little spoilery. So I bet that's it. I was thinking maybe there's like a scene or something, like a longer than 2 seconds, but it makes sense if that's it, so. It hurt. It hurt bad. It felt like fire. I never felt anything like this before. Pain, 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 pain. Pain, 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 pain. That's a lot of pain. Okay, anyway. A lot of pain. A lot of pain. Still in a lot of pain. What happened? What happened? What happened? What happened? Couldn't even stand. I crumpled to the ground, unable to bear the pain. I didn't have the strength left to turn around and see who was clinging to me. I reached out to touch my back and my uniform was wet. They stabbed me. No, the whole back of my body, down to the top of my pants, was wet. It was like I'd pissed myself. Is there anything more embarrassing than peeing your pants when you were in high school? Why was it wet? I didn't know. I couldn't remember wetting myself. I didn't feel like I had to go to the bathroom at all. I was gonna say, you got stabbed, bitch. I could see the dull gleam of a knife in front of me. The knife was red with blood. And then I knew. I'd been stabbed from behind with this knife. Stabbed? What kind of joke was that? I was at school. Why would I get stabbed at school? She's like, this isn't a school in America. And hey, you'd get shot. Stop that. Oh. It's funny because it's true, but it's also not funny because it's true. Who's there? My body had crumpled and it wouldn't do what I told it to do. I could only move my legs in spasms as if an amateur puppeteer was trying to control me. I mean, that's not far from the truth. Sarika is an amateur puppeteer and she is kind of sort of trying to control you, just not in that way, but I mean, it's a little spot on. It felt like I'd been thrown into a thick liquid. The strength was draining from my body. I was having trouble focusing. All the sounds around me faded away. Ooh, I hear the thunder coming. I somehow managed to move my neck. Using all the strength I had, I turned around to look at the person who collided with me. Gah! And then I felt a powerful impact on my nose. The next thing I knew, I was lying on the cold floor. They kicked me in the face? And no one saw it. Felt like there was a lot of snot coming out of my nose. But maybe it wasn't snot. Maybe it was blood. I couldn't breathe through my nose. That story of my life. Can't breathe through my nose. I kept trying to snort the blood back in, and it kept pouring out. Ugh. My vision started to turn red. Don't disappoint them too badly. I didn't know whose voice it was. I couldn't tell. Who was it that stabbed me? I figured it was Ito, because he made that grin, but... maybe it was Sakuma. Enough. I'm disappointed. Just die. It's probably Sakuma, to be honest with you, but why would he be here? We know it was probably Ito that stabbed us, so... what had I done to disappoint him? Someone tell me, please. No matter how much I tried to scream, no one would ever hear me now. But I wonder if the voice acting's on if you would hear it as Ito's voice, because that would again ruin it. You know what I mean? Why did you kill him? He wasn't strong enough. Oh, no, I definitely know it was Ito. The only ones who can kill Takuro Miyashiro are me and Takuro Miyashiro. But... don't overstep your bounds, dog! Gah! I bet this also is not in there. Because again, that would ruin it. Maybe it just says man and you hear a voice, and maybe it's like muffled or disguised so you don't know it's Ito, and then this whole scene would not be there. This is what I meant. You know what I mean with the it's incomplete is like this scene, this part with Sarika and Ito talking wouldn't be there because it would be spoilery. But I'm going to guess also the Ito grinning deviously because that would also be a little spoilery, so. I'm sorry, Taku, for making you feel bored. If only I'd been able to entertain you more. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's totally spoilery. So, I mean, I guess that's why. But again, or I mean, who knows, but it doesn't make a difference. So, wow. Okay. So what the hell is today? It's Wednesday. I don't know what to do because, like, I figured we were going to have another hour or two, like a little, because the end took a long time. And I was like, all right, I got plenty of time to finish this so that the other game that's going up in succession with this, I can actually start recording, right? Because it's coming out on Friday. My copy's already shipped. But, like, now I'm crossing my fingers hoping it shows up tomorrow, even though they're like, arriving on Friday. You better fucking arrive tomorrow, like, early, because, like, like, because I was like, good, I have Wednesday and Thursday left, and I figured we'd have a part or two today, and maybe, like, it's perfect that the common route ended in part 40. But, wow. I do wonder, let's see, tips, library, ending list. Oh, let's see something. Over Sky and, oh. It just, I guess, that's not, I guess, indicative. I thought you'd be able to tell, like, oh, there's 5 endings we didn't get, but it doesn't even say Over Sky bad ending, so, I mean, okay. Library. I'm assuming library. Okay, it's like the photos in the gallery and stuff like that. Like, oh. Oh, okay. I didn't realize where we were. I was like, what's happening? Okay, so those are the, like, so opening movie, original opening movie, normal ending credits. Okay, so like, there's two different ones. And one of them looks like it's very like the, and this is all the music. These are the CGs. Page 1. Do we only have one page of CGs? Are we missing stuff? So, like... Oh, we can X for next. Okay, so these are all the ones... Okay, these are all the terrible ones. We don't want to see those. Look! This was what... You know what's nice to us? These were the good days where our friend was our friend and he didn't stab us in the back or chop our sister up into bits. Ah, shit. And that's where she lost her underwear, and these are the terrifying things and everything. Like, oh, no, wait, okay. I was like, we got so many more CGs than this. You know what I mean? Like, oh. Oh. And there's obviously different ones for, like, when we, oh, look, there we go. There we're dead. I do like the way the gallery is put up with, like, the pins and the corkboard kind of look. You know what I mean? Look, we're making a book float. Don't look at... I mean... It's like, it's so fun. Oh, our sister in a... Some of them are not fun, like our sister in a box. Like... Some of these are, like, kind of terrifying. I'm not gonna, like, open them up and look at all of them, because, like, we kind of saw things like that, like... There you go! Aw, she's like, come on, let's be happy. It's kind of adorable. Oh, that's sad. Wow. Whoops. What did I do? Oh. Oh, look at all the things we're missing from all the different guides. Oh, 10, 11. There's a lot of pages. Oh. Best girl. I love her so much. This one's... Dear God. It's so funny. Yeah, so... We got like 3 pages of missing ones. I like that the pins are... Well, we got a bunch of other from different endings and stuff like that. But you know what? Like... I'm gonna leave you with this, even though, like, we're probably... I mean, like, every time we end, are we gonna end on a CG? No, but you know what? This was technically Serica's route, because she basically helped us escape. So I'm curious. And... I mean, nobody tell me, obviously, because... Well, I mean, you know what? By the time you get... Well, no. I don't know. I don't know if by the time you get to this, 40 hours later, I'm going to have finished the game. I might, because I'm pretty sure that this is going up in, like, September. Got, like, a month and a half to get there. But it's going to take me a little bit longer to record the rest of it than it did this, because I've got another game that I got to start recording. So, and you know how I like doing it if you've been here a while or you watch all the other Otome games. I like doing a route in an Otome game and then doing a route in another one and then going back and forth instead of trying to do them all at this, like, both at the same time, just because I have a hard time remembering, like, what the hell happened yesterday when we just recorded the last part. So, you know, it's a little bit, or a couple days ago when I recorded, and I don't record my Otome games or visual novel games usually on weekends. I might do it Friday night, but, like, Saturday is when I do my Sim stuff. Sunday is usually, like, don't do anything because I'm uploading and all of that stuff. Sometimes I do. This one I have been recording on Sundays and sometimes on Saturdays because it's like it's an addiction. Like, I'm like, shit, I want to. So, but our other game's coming and that's probably going to take a while to record. But I don't want to start Arnemura's kind of route path because it's going to take a little while. So it's going to be I'm going to see what I can do with the other game. I might have to do them both at the same time, but it's going to be at least a week, maybe a week or so before I come back to this one. So it really depends, unless my brain's like, what the hell? But so who knows? You might, well, you're not going to catch up. I'll be done with the game, but maybe not by the time you get to part 40. It really depends on what's going on with other stuff, and how long the rest of it takes. I think only part 4's gone up right now. Actually, part 5 might have posted today. I'm not sure. You're a quarter of the way. You're not even a quarter of the way to where I am. Okay, so like, yeah. You're not even like, I don't even think part 10 I've uploaded yet. So, is what I'm saying. I mean, you're a 10th of the way there if you've seen part 4 at this point. But yeah, but I gotta stay ahead because, you know. Anyway, that's that. So yeah, I will be back with you, not tomorrow, but the day after, with the next part, and we'll be starting Artimura's route, but it's going to be like at least a week for me, so just be prepared that when you watch, not tomorrow, but the day after, the next part anyway, I'm going to be like, I have no idea what the fuck was going on. What are we doing? So, and we'll have to figure it out. But yes, so, wow. I am really curious, and I'm hoping we find out at least in some other things, like, what the fuck happened here? Like, what? Or maybe it's just supposed to be open-ended like this, like, she shows up, like, because we obviously were trying to use our power to make her a normal girl, and all of that, and obviously whatever we did screwed us up, so I'm assuming, you know, because if we're in the hospital, it's either because we were unconscious, and when they found us and they're like, we've got the suspect, they never said we were, like, awake, you know what I mean? So we were either in the hospital in some kind of, like, a coma or something, or just in the hospital because they were like, you've got Chaos Child Syndrome, and we mean it, like, whatever, you know what I mean? Almost like a mental hospital type of a thing. So that's not clear. Were we conscious or not when they brought us in and put us in the hospital? And then Sarah got not fully clear, like, I feel like we didn't do whatever we were trying to do to her. You know what I mean? Did the cops come in and stop us before we were able to, quote unquote, turn her into a normal girl? Did it backfire on us? Like, what happened? Because I'm going to guess it didn't work, or they stopped us or something, because if she's showing up and, like, is helping us escape, you know what I mean? Yeah, whatever we did didn't work. And then what the hell happened that we just willingly, like, okay, peace out, instead of, like, because the whole reason why we were going to, like, no, we're going to turn you into a normal girl, instead of letting her go and, like, revealing that Sakuma was the murderer the whole time and we were innocent and, like, going along with that plan, is because we were like, no, we couldn't live with ourselves if we did that. And now we're like, okay, peace out, have fun. And, like, now we're like, fuck it, I don't want to go to jail. Like, her whole plan was that information would come out so we would never go to jail, and we'd be like, ha, screw you, I didn't do it. But we, at the end, were like, I can't do that. Are you fucking crazy? Because it is my fault, and we felt guilty. But now we're breaking out of prison, so obviously we got over feeling guilty, is all I'm saying, so. Or does she have mind control abilities and we didn't know? Maybe I mean, who knows? So I don't know if it'll ever be explained, or it's one of those, like, it just is there to make you wonder and question and theorize, and we're never going to explain it because this isn't really the true ending anyway, you know what I mean? The true ending you get at the end, so. I don't know, but it's interesting, and it's good, and I kind of, yeah. I mean, we saw some shit coming. Like, we saw some shit coming. It's Serica. She's the evil mastermind. Well, she really was. Sort of, kind of. Holy shit. Was she a figment of our imagination? Yes, she was. But there was a lot of other shit that I didn't see coming. Like, you know what? Dad did it? Ooh. And then this? Yeah. I've had a blast with this. This has been really good. I know in the very beginning, I was like, this fucking guy, I'm like, what the hell? It's going to be all fan servicey because, like, there's Kurusu's freaking almost seeing her fucking vagina hanging out there. Like, good lord. Like, and then there's the lesbians making out. But then, you know what? As you went on, you're like, I let it sink into my head, like, yes, we're a horny teenage boy. Okay, it makes sense. It's not, like, I need to take my expectations away and just be like, horny teenage boy, and, like, whatever, but it was just to kind of set the stage for that. So I know I pegged us a little wrong. We're still a little bit of an asshole, but an enjoyable one. I actually enjoy the character. You know, Caduce is my least favorite, so, you know, whatever. But most of them are great. Like, I don't know. But I had fun. There were a lot of twists. It kept me on my toes. Like, the whole time, every single time. Like, there was never a lull. Even when, like, we were extrapolating information and everything's coming out and you're going through, you're like, okay. And then it went through it so, I don't want to say fast, but there's a lot of games where it goes through and it goes over and over and over and over. And you're like, oh my God, yes, I get it. You've said this 75 times and it's boring. Stop it. Every time we'd go through the case and do stuff and it'd be something different, or this would happen, or then it was at least in a short enough block that you didn't have time to get bored or frustrated, like, oh my God, yes, I get it. Like, you know? So, I don't know. It just kept going, and every single time there was always, every time I recorded and I'd be done, I'm like, I want to know what's going to happen next. Like, I don't know. Well done. Bravo. So, I'm curious about the rest of it and all the other secrets and stuff and what is actually lurking underneath and hiding, because there's obviously more to it. Otherwise, we wouldn't have other routes. You know what I mean? And things are going to change. So how is that going to make it different? I'm curious. But anyway, so I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.